Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Market Pulse. I am Ajit, the founder and mentor at Learn Price Action Trading. Let's take a look at what the markets have been doing last week and what are they likely to do this week. All right, so as we discussed in the last Market Pulse a couple of weeks back, we said that it all depends on how markets start reacting to the areas of supply here. And this is not something that is too great a demand zone. So there is a chance that we could dip deeper. The trend is still intact and up, but the immediate trend and momentum is more towards the downside. So we still, the best demand zone for us to look at buying for long-term or positional is still going to be at this 15,329. Once it comes at to this time, if it comes here, it might go a little bit deeper and then turn around. So we'll have to wait for some confirmation. The trend as of now is intact. Going to the weekly chart, that's the demand zone that we are currently in, though it's not a great area of demand zone. The best demand zone that you can see is these are level on top of each other. Both these are out 16,200 odd levels. So that's a fresh area of demand zone and is a very good price point for us to enter for some swing trading. Currently, the trend is down, but we are in a higher time frame demand zone. Last week, we had the last 2 days of the last week had a big sell-off that came with a gap down on Friday, and it sustained. So there could be a good chance that we could move down further deeper into this, maybe let's say up to 17,000 or 16,900 before we have a significant up move, let's say at least up to this. The key areas of supply and demand for the weekly chart are going to be, that's the supply area. That's a key supply area, though we will also have some areas of supply that could be pending, but those are the best areas of supply, and that's a demand zone. This demand zone, maybe no, markets might still glide down in this, but not a great area to go set and forget when the trend is so trend is down, and is the momentum is also picking up. Coming back to the daily chart, now this is where we get some more clues. Now we are at the low end from where we moved up to this gap area. Now, one thing to notice, there was no great demand zone on the daily chart and here. So the next demand zone on the daily chart that you can see is all the way here. So that's where we could see a pause if the selling sell-off continues tomorrow due to too many news like the SV Bank and the ongoing Adani issue. Plus, remember, tomorrow is US and India inflation numbers, if I'm not wrong. So market may remain in a range or it could move down, but not too much in anticipation. So if that happens tomorrow, then we could see the effect of all those on Monday. So we have to be careful in initiating new short positions because we are low on the curve. Buying is only on the confirmation and could be restricted to intraday. The next best supply zone that is available here is here. But it looks difficult with this gap that markets might go all the way up here. If we do not go up in the next 2-3 days, there is a good chance you could start moving down. Now, there could be some smaller time frame supply zones, or if it tries to fill the gap, then this is the area where you will see some supply coming in and you can get into some shorts. But I would say we'll have to wait because the new inflation news is going to come in the evening, so the effect could be seen on Monday. But if there is something fishy about the SVB Bank and there is one probably likelihood of a contagion, we could probably see the continuation of this sell-off tomorrow also. And if that sell-off continues tomorrow with the gap down, then we could probably even test this and then turn up. So no aggressive shorts and confirmation longs only at these areas. We are right now in the middle of the swing. Coming back to the 75-minute chart, that's the best supply zone here. Right now, these are all consolidation candles. So these are the two supply zones, which are very important. And even if we see a pullback, it might not be easy to break these areas of supply. Right now, we are in this area of supply, which is not that great because it just pushed it to this supply, and we had a very strong reaction coming. Whenever this kind of price action happens, we could see new lows coming in, and it could break because there is no, once we break this, there is no demand zone. And if we open below 258 or 260, then we could the momentum could slide down Nifty further, and then the best area to go for a confirmation long is going to be here. Right now, Nifty is reacting to this 75-minute demand zone, which is a smaller time frame demand zone against a bigger time frame supply zone taking control. So be cautious. The move is done. We to trade this level again, we'll have to wait for some confirmation. And with this huge gap, it's going to be a tricky and a difficult situation if you are a buyer. And this area is not good for selling. So for buying, you'll have to wait for confirmation, and for selling, you'll have to wait for these areas or wait for this supply demand zone to be breached. So be cautious about the trades tomorrow, since we have important numbers coming out, and we really don't know what lies ahead because of the SVB bank. All right, let's take a look at Bank Nifty now. Because of if there is something big that is yet to come out because of the SVB bank, then you could see that Bank Nifty might crack further ahead. It has enough room to go down. This is still the best demand area for us to be buyers on confirmation on the monthly chart. Not a big fan of such demand areas because they are all wide range candles. We do have a picture of supply that has got formed, and prices are currently holding that supply zone. So that's going to be the range for Bank Nifty for the coming couple of months from here till here. But there could be some weekly, daily demand zones that would be the first target. On the weekly chart, if you see, there is a strong candle which came again from that supply zone on Friday, that is last week. Now there are no demand areas again here. This is a demand zone, but it could not do much. It only pushed it to the supply and is again pushing back. So either a range bound price action, which probably is unlikely with so many news coming, and the momentum being strong in the last 2 days of last week, there is a good chance with slight negative news, the markets could keep tumbling down. So I'm not a big fan of buying at this area. So maybe some fresh demand zone inside this could be your short targets if you're already sitting on shorts from here. Longs will be only on confirmation. The best area for that I like to probably build some swing positions will be it'll be around 38,500. So market could potentially come all the way here if the negative news continues, and especially with banking Nifty. If we start moving lower, and if we break this low of 39,510, then just do not buy in a hurry because market trend has shifted and the momentum is pretty strong towards the downside. So you've got to be cautious as a buyer. And that's the best demand zone if you want to have a swing position in the markets of Bank Nifty. Coming to the daily chart, what we see here is that's the area again, which is a monthly, weekly picture of supply from where it has started to move down. This is the only demand zone which can hold the price. That's the only demand zone which can hold the price. But even if it pushes, it may again see a sell-off coming in at these areas. With this huge gap, it becomes difficult for prices to go up unless we have a strong gap up and prices continue or a good news comes in. So there is very less probability of this demand zone on the daily chart to hold. Remember, we closed pretty strongly negative in Bank Nifty after that huge gap down. So that's a demand zone of new demand. This is the demand zone which has been tested and is pushing the price. So the range on the daily chart for Bank Nifty could be somewhere from here. So if we break, if you open, let's say tomorrow we have a gap down below this, then you wait for prices to come somewhere here and then look for confirmation longs. If you're holding shorts, continue holding till we do not see a turn in the price. If we start moving up, these are the only areas where you can go and sell short. Maybe if you see some pressure coming in on the indices, look at some options trades. So if you see, there is no supply till we reach this point. That is the main supply on 75-minute chart. So it's a big task for the index to go up unless there's some good news that comes in tomorrow morning. Or then if it continues, it could base for inflation thing or keep moving, oscillating here, and then finally break and move towards this way. There'll be an attempt again to push the prices up. So if you're in any shorts and you're conservative, you could look at targeting 39,500 in the coming few days. So again, Bank Nifty, the strong momentum on the downside, though we are in demand zone. If the news is not favorable for banks, you could see a bigger move down happening in Bank Nifty. And if that happens, these are the areas where we could go to 38,500. So pretty wide range will depend on how markets trade tomorrow. So be cautious. Don't be in a hurry to take any position tomorrow. Remember, we have inflation number coming in the evening, which could have a bigger impact on all the indices. A quick look at Bank India VIX. It's again moving up from those low areas. On weekly, the next supply is somewhere close to 19. So if we move all the way here, we could see Nifty coming down all the way to 16,700 areas. Now that's a supply which I'm not so confident about being held. It could just oscillate. If VIX starts moving up, this is the area it could move up to, which could push the index to 17,000 areas. So watch out for the VIX to be rising. Volatility might increase in the coming few days. So be cautious and trade safe and trade with strict stop loss.